The air tastes like old paper and burnt coffee. My palms are wet. My fingers won't stop trembling, so I press them hard into my thigh under the table, like pain can anchor me. Across from me, he smiles. Not a real smile. The kind he wears when he's sure the room belongs to him. Like the judge is already shaking his hand in his head. Like my name is a line item he's about to cross off. His lawyer, sharp suit, sharper voice, slides a folder across the polished wood. It makes that dry, slick sound, like something being erased. The folder stops in front of me, perfectly centered, perfectly neat. A performance. My throat tightens. I can feel my heartbeat in my tongue, in my ears, in the thin skin at my wrist where my pulse keeps jumping, panicked and loud. Then his lawyer opens his own file to speak. Confident, practiced, and stops. Mid-sentence. I watch the color drain from his face so fast it's almost unreal, like someone turned down a dimmer switch. His fingers fumble the papers. One page sticks. He pulls too hard. The paper tears a little at the corner. My ex's smile flickers. Just once. A blink of confusion. A tiny crack. The judge's voice cuts through the room, calm and heavy. "Mrs. Rahman," she says, and my stomach drops at the sound of my own name. "Where did you get this account statement?" My mouth goes dry. For a second, I taste metal, like I've bitten the inside of my cheek without realizing it. I swallow anyway. My lungs feel too small. He leans forward, just enough for me to hear him, and his whisper crawls under my skin. "That account doesn't exist." I turn my head, slowly. My neck feels stiff, like it's resisting me. His eyes are bright with that same old certainty. He's still trying to will the truth into disappearing. My lips part. The words come out steady, even though my body isn't. "It does," I say, staring straight at him, letting my gaze hold like a blade. "And it's not the only thing you hid." The judge's chair shifts. The courtroom seems to inhale all at once. "Stop," she orders, sharp now, final. "We're pausing. We need to discuss undisclosed assets." My ex's smile collapses completely. And for the first time in weeks, the air feels like it might actually reach my lungs. My knees feel hollow when I step out of the courtroom hallway, like someone scooped the strength out of my bones and left the skin to hold me up. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead. My scalp prickles under them. I keep tasting that bitter coffee air, even away from the benches, even away from him. I'm 32. I still remember the version of me who used to carry a laptop everywhere, who liked clean spreadsheets and neat little totals that always matched. Then I got pregnant and he kissed my forehead and said I didn't have to worry anymore. He said he wanted me safe. He said my job was stress. He said his career was the future. So I folded myself into his life, into his schedule, into the shape of supportive. In public, he was warmth, a hand at my back, a laugh that made people laugh with him, the kind of man strangers trusted in 5 seconds. When he spoke, waiters leaned in, neighbors nodded, my own relatives said, "You're lucky." At home, his voice turned flat. The smiles shut off like a lamp. He'd stand in doorways and fill them with his body. He'd ask where I went, who I talked to, why the grocery receipt was higher than last week. Like my choices needed approval to exist. If I cried, his eyes would slide away as if tears were just bad manners. The day the divorce papers arrived, it wasn't a fight. It was an announcement. A sealed envelope placed on the counter like a bill. My stomach sank so hard I thought I might actually fold in half. He wanted the house. He wanted the savings. He wanted full decision-making. He wanted to tell the court I was unstable, too emotional, too scattered, too unreliable. Like being exhausted and scared made me defective. Like motherhood was a weakness he could underline in red ink. I can still hear my daughter's small voice that night, thin as a thread in the dark. "Mom, where will we sleep?" Something hot flared under my ribs. Not loud, not wild. A tiny coal that didn't care how polite I'd been trained to be. My throat tightened and my eyes burned, but my hands stopped shaking for 1 second. Rent, school fees, after-school care, medication, lawyer retainers that sounded like ransom. Every number stacked on top of my chest until breathing felt like work. And the worst part, worse than the money, was the way he talked about time with my child like it was a prize he deserved. The hallway smells like copier toner. My phone is heavy in my palm. I can feel the slick sweat making it almost slip. If you're watching this, tell me where you're watching from. Tell me the time where you are. And if you've ever been underestimated, if someone smiled like your life was already theirs, Stay with me. Subscribe. Because I didn't stay small. I didn't even mean to find it. A routine document. A dull, official page I almost tossed into a pile. But when I flipped it over, there it was. Faint. Hurried, like it had been written in a rush. A string of numbers. An account number. And my pulse kicked. Hard, like my body recognized a door before my mind did. My apartment smells like onions from the downstairs neighbor and detergent that never quite dries. The radiator ticks like it's counting down to something. I sit at the tiny table, too small for papers, too small for panic, and I smooth the back of that routine document again and again until the paper warms under my fingertips. Numbers. Just numbers. But my skin knows the shape of a lie now. I tilt it toward the lamp. The ink is faint, as if whoever wrote it didn't want the pen to bite the page. An account number, a routing code, a scribble that could have been nothing. Except nothing doesn't make my pulse do this. My daughter, Mina, is on the floor with her coloring book. She's quiet in that careful way that makes my throat ache. She hums under her breath, a tiny sound like she's trying to hold the room together with it. I keep my voice soft. Hey, sweetheart, can you pick a story tonight? The one with the cat who steals pancakes? She looks up, eyes too old for 8. Okay. Then, almost casually, like she's asking about homework. Are we going back to our house? My chest squeezes so tight my breath catches on the way in. I swallow. I feel the swallow scrape. Not tonight, I manage. She nods, but her face doesn't move much. She goes back to coloring. I watch her grip the crayon. Too hard. Knuckles pale, the paper under it almost tears. I press my palm to my sternum. The heat there is sharp and mean. Anger. The kind that doesn't shout. The kind that sits in the body like a stone. Because it wasn't supposed to be like this. I wasn't supposed to be the woman counting coins and cutting coupons and pretending it's normal to start over in a place where the walls are so thin you can hear a stranger sneeze. I used to be useful, competent. Not glamorous, not powerful, but steady. I could make a week's worth of receipts line up to the penny. I could spot a mistake from across a spreadsheet like it was a stain on a white shirt. Then Naveed took over the finances. It started sweet. A hand over mine at the bank. A laugh. Why should you stress? I've got it. He said it like love. He said it like protection. He said it like I should be grateful. And I was. God, I was. I let him become the only person who knew the passwords. The only person with the login codes. The only person who could see the big picture. Every time I asked, he kissed my forehead and told me I worried too much. Every time I pushed, he sighed like I was ruining the peace. Soon I wasn't asking anymore. Soon I was checking with him before I bought anything that wasn't milk or school supplies. Soon I was explaining myself to my own husband like he was a manager and I was the employee who kept messing up. Do we really need brand name cereal? Why are you going out again? Don't you get tired of talking? Samira always fills your head with nonsense. Samira. Just thinking her name gives me a strange kind of relief, like leaning into the frame of a doorway during a storm. We grew up together. Shared lipstick in bathrooms, shared secrets on rooftops. She's the friend who remembers how I take my tea and how my voice sounds when I'm lying to myself. She works at a bank now. Not the teller counter, not the smiling customer service voice. Compliance. The part that reads rules and watches for patterns and takes the word policy seriously. Naveed never liked her. She judges me, he used to say, too lightly, as if it was a joke, but his eyes would always sharpen when her name came up. Like he could feel a flashlight being turned on somewhere he'd rather keep dark. I hear my phone buzz on the table. The vibration travels into the wood and into my bones. A message from Naveed. My stomach flips before I even read it. Like my body memorized fear and now serves it automatically. I open it. You can drop Mina at my mother's tomorrow at 10. Don't be late. We're working on a schedule. No hello, no question, just instructions. My jaw tightens, my teeth feel too close together. I want to type something ugly, something true, something that would make him feel, for once, the way I've been feeling, small and cornered and watched. Instead, I set the phone down. Slowly. Like it's a glass that might shatter. The memory hits me. Sharp as a slap. The night he served me the papers. Family dinner. His mother's living room, the air thick with perfume and fried spices. Farzana moving like a queen between plates, smiling at everyone like she'd invented manners. Eat, Aisha, she'd said, sweet. You're so thin these days. Thin, like it was a flaw. Thin, like she was pleased about it. Naveed was charming that night. course he was. He laughed in the right places, told stories about the business, made his cousins nod along like he was teaching them something. Mina sat beside me, swinging her feet under the chair, listening with wide eyes. And then, right when the tea came out, he pulled an envelope from inside his jacket like he was giving me a gift. The paper slid across the table. Everyone saw it. His uncle leaned forward. "What's that?" Naveed's smile didn't shake. "Just something we need to handle." He looked at me like I was a mess he planned to clean up. I remember the way my hands went numb, not trembling yet, just empty, like someone cut the strings that held me upright. I opened it. The words swam. My vision tunneled. Petition for dissolution, dates, demands, the house, the savings, primary custody. My mouth filled with saliva, like my body was preparing to throw up. Farzana gasped in that practiced way, hand to chest, eyes wide, sympathy on her face like makeup. "Oh, Beta," she said, but her voice carried something bright underneath. A shine. People stared at me. Not him. Me. Because he looked calm, rational, like a man forced into a hard decision, and I looked like exactly what he needed me to look like, broken. He spoke softly, almost kindly. "It's for the best," he said. "We can do this respectfully." Respectfully. As if humiliation could be respectful if you used the right tone. I tried to speak. My throat wouldn't open. Mina's eyes flicked from his face to mine. She understood more than she should. I saw it in the way her little shoulders rose, like she was bracing for impact. Naveed leaned closer, voice lowered so only I could hear. "Don't make a scene," he murmured. "It won't help you." That's when I realized it wasn't a divorce. It was a removal, a clean extraction, like he was cutting me out of his life with a blade he'd been sharpening quietly for months. Later that night, in our bedroom, he stood by the dresser while I sat on the edge of the bed with the papers wrinkled in my grip. He didn't sit. He didn't soften. He didn't ask if I was okay. He checked his watch like this was an appointment. "I built this," he said, nodding toward the house around us. "You didn't contribute anything real, you stayed home. That was your choice." My ears rang. My skin went hot. I could feel blood rushing into my face like my body wanted to set itself on fire. "You asked me to stay home," I whispered. He shrugged, a small movement, dismissive. "And you liked it. Don't pretend you didn't." I wanted to scream, but Mina was down the hall. I could hear the faint sound of her cartoon through her door, so I swallowed the scream. I let it become something harder. Now, in this small apartment, I look at that account number again. The ink is still faint. My eyes sting from staring. My shoulders ache from holding tension, like it's a backpack I can't put down. I think about Farzana's smile, the way she says my name like it's something sticky between her fingers. The way she tells people, "We tried everything," as if I'm a stain they scrubbed at for years. I think about Samira and the way she used to whisper to me at weddings. "Aisha, don't disappear." I disappeared anyway, and Naveed counted on it. He counted on me being too tired, too embarrassed, too afraid of looking foolish, too worried about appearing stable. He counted on me to fold. I can feel anger pooling low in my belly now, heavy and warm, not chaotic, focused, like a compass turning. My phone buzzes again. Another message. Also, my lawyer will be requesting supervised visitation until your living situation improves. Supervised. The word hits like a fist. My vision flashes white for a second. My hands go cold. I glance at Mina. She's still coloring, but she's listening. I can tell by the way her crayon pauses mid-stroke, just for a heartbeat. I stand up so fast the chair legs scrape. The sound is loud in the small room. Mina flinches. "Sorry," I say quickly, voice tight. "Just chair." I walk to the sink, turn on the tap. The water rushes out, too loud, too alive. I grip the edge of the counter until my fingers ache. Supervised visitation, pending review, financial control. They want to make me beg to see my own child. I taste bile. I breathe through it. Slow, slow. My chest rises like it's pushing against a weight. I close my eyes and see that courtroom again. His smile. The folder. The judge's voice. Not yet, but soon. I turn off the tap. The silence after the water feels like a vacuum. I dry my hands even though they aren't wet. The towel rubs my skin raw. I need sensation. Something real. Then I pick up my phone and type one name. Samira. My thumb hovers, my heart kicks, my mouth goes dry. I press call. It rings once, twice. On the third ring, she answers, voice low. "Aisha?" The sound of her saying my name, my real name, not the version Naveed uses like a warning, makes my eyes burn. I need you, I whisper, and my throat cracks around it. Not like, just, I found something. Numbers, an account. I don't know what it means, but my body knows it means something. There's a pause. I can hear her breathe. Steady. Okay, she says, simple, firm, like a hand on my shoulder. Tell me what you have. I look down at the paper, the faint ink, the quiet door waiting to be opened. And somewhere deep inside me, beneath the fear and the shame and the exhaustion, that small coal flares brighter. Because the first hearing is coming fast, and they're about to ask the court to put my life in someone else's hands. I press the paper flat on the table, align it with the edge like I used to. Like order can be armor. My voice comes out steadier. I'm going to read it to you. My pulse drums in my ears. Outside, a car horn blares. A baby cries down the hall. Life goes on, but inside me, something clicks into place. If they want me supervised, fine, let them watch. Let them watch me stop being removed. The next morning, my card declines in the pharmacy like it's a slap with witnesses. The machine beeps, once, twice. The cashier's smile freezes in place, polite but tense, eyes flicking to the line behind me. Mina stands at my knee, her fingers tucked into the hem of my sleeve, like she's trying to stitch herself to me. Can you try again? I hear myself ask, too softly, like the world might punish volume. The cashier runs it again, the same sharp beep. I feel heat crawl up my neck, sweat gathers at my hairline. My stomach drops and keeps dropping. I pull out my phone with hands that don't feel like mine and step aside, away from the line, away from the staring. Naveed answers on the second ring. Of course, he's always available when control is involved. What? He says like I'm interrupting something important. The card? I swallow, my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. It's not working. Mina's prescription is... I froze it. He cuts in, calm as a glass of water. It's not my problem now. For a second, I don't understand the sentence. My brain refuses to accept it. Not my problem, not my problem. Like he's talking about a cracked tile. Like he's talking about a missing sock. My chest tightens so suddenly I suck in air like I've been shoved underwater. It's your daughter, I whisper. A pause. I can hear faint traffic on his end, a door closing, his life moving forward in smooth, comfortable clicks. You should plan better, he says. Ask your family. You wanted this. I taste something sour, bile. My throat burns around it. My ears ring and the store lights look too bright, too white, too unforgiving. I stare at the pharmacy counter and force my voice into something steady. Fine, I'll handle it. He exhales, almost amused. Good, that's a start. The call ends, just like that. I stand there with my phone still pressed to my ear, hearing nothing but the blood rushing inside my head. Mina tugs my sleeve. Mom? I blink. The world returns in pieces. Beeping scanner, someone's cart squeaking, the smell of disinfectant and candy. I've got it, I tell her, but my voice shakes on the last word. I crouch, dig through my wallet, count the cash I have left. The bills feel thin and dirty, insultingly light. When I hand them to the cashier, my fingers tremble so hard a coin slips and rolls away. It makes a bright little clink against the tile, like the sound of dignity falling. In the car, Mina sits in silence with the paper bag in her lap. She watches the bag like it might disappear. My hands grip the steering wheel. Hard. My knuckles ache. Not my problem now. I repeat it inside my head until the words lose shape and become pure cruelty. That afternoon, the silence spreads. I message our mutual friends about Mina's schedule, about needing someone to pick her up from school one day because I have a meeting. The messages show seen. No replies. A week ago, those same people were sending heart emojis on photos, laughing at Naveed's jokes, asking me when I'd host dinner again. Now my phone is a graveyard of polite blue ticks. At pickup, one of the moms, someone I once helped with her budget when her husband lost his job, glances at me like I'm contagious. Her smile is thin. I heard things are difficult, she says. Voice lowered, eyes flicking away, as if looking at me too long might confirm something. What things? I ask, though my stomach already knows. She hesitates, then shrugs like it's harmless gossip. Just money stuff that you're not great with it. Not great with it. I feel my face go hot. My scalp prickles again like tiny needles under the skin. I want to laugh. I want to scream. Instead, I nod once, stiff. Interesting. She smiles and backs away, relieved, like she's done her duty by warning the neighborhood. By night, the smear has teeth. Someone posts a prayer status about women who manipulate good men and play victim to steal what they didn't earn. Farzana shares it. Farzana, who always used to say, "We don't do drama," with a sweet smile and cold eyes. She adds her own line. May strong men find peace when they escape emotional traps. The words sit on my screen like spit. My hands shake so much I almost drop my phone. Mina is brushing her teeth in the bathroom. I can hear the water running, the soft spit into the sink, the tiny hiccup she keeps trying to hide. I stand by the kitchen counter, the buzzing light above me flickering just slightly, an electric stutter that makes the room feel nervous. I stare at Farzana's post until my eyes blur, until the letters smear into ink. Strong men, escape, traps. That's what I am now. A trap. A story they tell to make his cruelty look clean. I move into the smaller place officially 2 days later. It isn't a move like the ones in movies with boxes and laughter and new beginnings. It's a retreat. The stairs smell like damp concrete and cooking oil. The door sticks. The lock turns too slowly, like it's thinking about whether I deserve to get in. Inside, the walls are so thin I can hear a couple arguing in the next unit. The floorboards creak like complaints. The ceiling light buzzes, constant, insistent, like a trapped insect. At night, Mina's bed is pushed against the wall. Mine is a mattress on the floor. I lie there staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. Listening to the faint wheeze she gets when she cries too quietly. She does cry quietly. It's worse than loud crying. Loud crying is honest. Loud crying asks for help. Quiet crying is a child trying not to become a burden. I press my fist against my mouth to stop myself from making a sound. In the morning, the legal letter arrives. Cream-colored paper, thick, expensive, the kind of paper that says you can't afford to argue with us. The lawyer's name is printed in bold at the top. His words are respectful, reasonable, generous. The offer is a joke with teeth. He'll allow me to keep my personal items, my clothes, a few pieces of furniture if I can prove I bought them, minimal support based on the income Naveed claims to earn, a schedule that gives me Mina like a borrowed book, limited hours, supervised pending review, and the rest of her time handed to his mother for stability. Stability. I read that word and feel my nails dig into my palm. My throat closes. I can barely breathe. I can smell the paper, ink and smugness. I call the number, thinking, hoping, there's room for reason. The assistant answers first, warm voice, practiced kindness. Then the lawyer comes on. He chuckles when I speak. Not loud, just enough to let me know what I am to him. "Mrs. Rahman," he says, like he's already bored, "this is a very fair offer, given your circumstances." My circumstances, I repeat, the words scraping on the way out. "Yes," he says, "your limited income, your unstable housing, the child's medical needs, we have to consider what's best." My vision tunnels. I grip the edge of the table until the wood bites into my skin. "I can provide," I say. "I just need the financial documents. The full ones, tax returns, business statements, everything." Another chuckle. "We'll provide what's required, in due time." "In due time," I echo, and my voice comes out thin. "Sign," he says, suddenly blunt. "Or we proceed. Court is expensive. You don't want to embarrass yourself." The line goes dead. For a moment, the room is too quiet. Even the buzzing light seems to pause. My ears ring again. I stare at my own reflection in the dark phone screen, eyes wide, lips pale, hair pulled back too tight like I'm trying to keep myself from unraveling. Then I breathe in. It hurts. But I do it anyway. I open a new email. My fingers move slowly, deliberately, as if each word is a brick. Request for full financial disclosure. Request for account statements. Request for proof of income. I attach copies of my receipts. Rent, school supplies, Mina's medications, the childcare deposit I scraped together from cash and borrowed pride. I make a folder on my laptop labeled Paper Trail. Then another folder, Custody. Then another, Expenses. Every click is a tiny act of defiance. I call Samira at night while Mina sleeps. Samira listens in silence while I speak. I can hear her breathing on the other end, steady, like a lighthouse. "You can't access anything directly," she says when I finish, "and don't try. But listen, disclosure is a legal obligation. They have to list assets, all assets. The red flags are what they forget. The gaps, the numbers that don't match the lifestyle. Lifestyle. I see Naveed's tailored suits, his dinners, his networking trips. The way he never blinked at spending on himself but asked me why I bought mangoes. What do I look for? I whisper. Patterns, she says, transfers that repeat, payments that show up like rent but aren't rent. Accounts with similar names, misspellings. Sometimes people get sloppy when they think no one's watching. I look down at the back of the routine document again. The faint ink, the numbers. My heart thuds. Samira, I say, and my voice shakes. I found something. An account number. Just written down. There's a pause, and I can almost hear her mind sharpening. Read it to me, she says. I do. When I finish, she exhales. Slow. That doesn't look like your usual bank, she says carefully. And that's interesting. The word interesting lands like a match. The next day, more mail arrives. Mixed in with school flyers and a coupon booklet is a plain envelope. No return address. My stomach tightens before I open it, like my body knows this is a door I can't close again. Inside is a statement. Same home address, different bank. The name on it is almost Naveed's. Almost. One letter wrong. A misspelling that looks innocent until it doesn't. I stare at it until my eyes sting. My hands go cold. And somewhere in the background, the buzzing light keeps humming. Steady, steady, steady. Like it's urging me forward. The statement sits on my table like a living thing. The paper is too clean, too crisp. It smells faintly of ink and machine heat. My name isn't on it, but my address is. My address. Like a thumb pressed into fresh dough. And his name, almost his name, spelled wrong by one letter. Like a child trying to sneak candy past a parent. Like the universe daring me to notice. My fingers hover over the numbers. I don't touch them at first, I can't. My skin feels too thin. Then I pick it up and the paper crackles softly and the sound snaps something inside me tight. I call the bank. The hold music is cheerful in that way that makes my teeth hurt. Little bright notes that don't belong in my life. When a woman finally answers, her voice is trained kindness. How may I help you today? My throat is dry. I received a statement at my address, I say carefully like I'm walking barefoot over glass. It's for an account. I believe it may be connected to my husband. There's a pause while she types. I hear clicking. Fast. Clinical. Ma'am, she says gently. I'm sorry, I can't confirm or deny any account information without proper authorization. It came to my home. I insist. My voice rises on the last word, and I hate myself for it. I hate how easy it is to sound like what they already want me to be. Privacy rules, she repeats, still gentle, still immovable. If you are not the account holder, you will need legal documentation. Legal documentation. The wall. I swallow, my tongue feels thick. So you can't tell me if this account is real. I'm sorry, she says again, and it's like a door closing slowly in my face. I hang up with a thumb that won't quite cooperate. The room tilts. I stand there staring at my phone, and the shame rolls over me hot and suffocating. Like I did something wrong by even asking. Like I'm the thief for wanting to know where my life went. My chest tightens, the air feels gritty, I can't get enough of it. I pace the apartment. 1, 2, 3 steps. Turn. The space is too small for the amount of panic in me. Mina is at Farzana's today. For stability. That's what the message said. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I needed the time to work, to breathe, to figure out next steps. But the quiet is loud. In the quiet, all I can hear is my own fear echoing. I picture Naveed laughing with his lawyer. I picture Farzana's posts, the gentle cruelty dressed up as morality. I picture the moms at school, whispering, shifting their bags away from me like I'm messy, like I leak bad decisions. My stomach twists. Rage rises so fast it makes me dizzy. My hands shake and I have nowhere to put it, nowhere to pour it, so I pour it into the only thing that doesn't judge me. Paper. I pull every document I have out of my bag. Receipts, old rent slips, school invoices, that crumpled pharmacy printout, the email where Naveed told me I should plan better. I spread everything on the table and then on the floor because the table is too small for the wreckage of my life. I sit down among the papers like I'm at the center of a storm made of numbers. My eyes burn. My throat hurts. My shoulders feel like they're holding up a ceiling. For one night, I spiral. I let myself. I cry until my face is swollen and my nose hurts. I whisper insults at myself, stupid, naive, too trusting, until my voice goes hoarse. I imagine scenes where I say the perfect thing to him, the perfect cutting sentence that makes him flinch. He never flinches. That's the worst part. Around midnight, I stop crying so suddenly it scares me. My body just runs out, like the tears were a battery and it died. I lie on the mattress and stare at the ceiling, and my chest still aches, but the ache changes shape. Under the ache, something else is there. A hard little point, a decision. I won't beg him anymore. I won't call him for mercy. I won't plead for fair. Fair is a word people use when they think the other person has a conscience. Naveed doesn't have a conscience. He has a brand. I sit up. My hair sticks to my damp cheeks. My skin is sticky with old tears. I wipe my face with the back of my hand, and it feels rough, like sandpaper. I open my laptop. The blue light makes everything look colder and sharper. My eyes feel raw as they adjust. I start building. A spreadsheet, dates, amounts, notes, rent, groceries, Mina's school costs, her after-school program, the medical bills, the deposits, the emergency cash withdrawals I made when he started controlling the accounts and I didn't have a name for what I was doing yet. And then I open another tab and write down what he claims he earns. Modest, his lawyer called it. Modest. I compare. The numbers don't breathe right. They don't move like a real household moves. They don't match the dinners he posted, the suits, the car payments, the way he never hesitated to spend on business development. The lie isn't just money. The lie is that I was safe. I realize it in a slow, sick wave. Not a punch, a flood. Safe was a story he told me, so I'd hand him the keys to everything. My career, my confidence, my access to my own life. My phone buzzes. A message from a cousin of his, someone who used to call me sister with a smile. Saw Naveed at that new rooftop place. He looks happy. Good for him. Good for him. My throat tightens again, but this time it doesn't break me. It irritates me. Like smoke in my eyes. I close the message. I don't answer. In the morning, I meet Miss Chowdhury. Her office is small, but it smells like paper and mint tea, not like desperation. There's a fan humming in the corner. The sound is steady, calming, like a heartbeat that isn't mine. She doesn't waste time on pity. She looks at me like I'm a person, not a rumor. I slide my folder across her desk with hands that still tremble, but less than before. I think he's hiding things, I say. I can't prove it yet, but this came to my address. She studies the statement. Her eyes narrow slightly, not in anger. Focus. This misspelling, she says, tapping the name once. That's not accidental. My skin prickles. She sets the paper down carefully. Listen to me, she says, voice calm, firm. No miracles. No dramatic scenes. We win by making them talk with paperwork. The way she says it, making them talk, feels like a lever sliding under a heavy object. I exhale. I didn't realize I was holding my breath. She explains the steps in a voice that doesn't rise, doesn't wobble. Formal requests. Discovery. Motions to compel if they stall. Requests for business records. If necessary, subpoenas where allowed. Words that are heavy and slow and real. The kind of words that build walls back up. My throat loosens a little. Relief slides through me like warm water. Not comfort, just the absence of drowning. She looks at me over her glasses. They're going to try to scare you, she says. So you do the opposite. What's the opposite? My voice comes out small. You look defeated, she says. In front of them. You act tired, confused. You let them think you're folding. I feel something sharp flare inside me. A protest. A pride. She raises a hand, gentle but final. Not because you are weak, because it makes them sloppy. Sloppy leaves fingerprints. I nod once, slow. Inside, I feel my spine straighten. Outside, I let my shoulders droop like I'm exhausted. I practice it on the walk home, my face soft, my steps smaller, my eyes down. A costume. Under the costume, the coal stays bright. Samira calls that night. Any news? I have a lawyer, I tell her, and my voice surprises me. It sounds steadier, like my mouth remembers strength. Samira exhales. Good. Then quieter. I heard something. My heart stutters. From where? I whisper. She hesitates, careful. A colleague's cousin. Social circles overlap. Just talk. The kind of talk that travels through city air like smoke. Naveed's been seen with someone, she says. Not new. People are saying it's been going on a while, and there's chatter he promised her an apartment. Trips. A lifestyle. My stomach tightens. I feel heat bloom under my skin, like humiliation trying to claw its way back. But then the numbers in my spreadsheet flicker in my mind. Payments that didn't make sense. Business expenses that look too personal. A lifestyle funded by business. My hands curl into fists on their own. I breathe. In. Out. It's not just betrayal of my heart, it's theft with perfume on it. A week later, Miss Chowdhury emails me. Subject line, records received, partial. My mouth goes dry before I even open it. I click. My finger slips on the trackpad because my palm is sweating. Her message is short. They sent some statements, some summaries, not everything. Months missing, pages unavailable. Accounts not listed. And then one line that makes my pulse jump into my throat. There's a repeating transfer pattern, same amounts, same days, different destinations. Someone is moving money on purpose. I stare at the screen until my eyes sting. The fan in the corner of the room hums. The refrigerator clicks. The building sighs around me. I can feel my heartbeat everywhere. Fingertips, lips, ribs. Not fear this time. A signal. A trail. I close the laptop slowly like I'm holding something fragile and dangerous. And in my mind, I see Naveed's smile again, confident, polished, untouchable. I feel my own mouth curve slightly, not into happiness, into certainty. Because now there's a pattern, and patterns can be followed. I don't sleep much anymore. I lie on the mattress and stare at the ceiling until the edges of things soften, until the buzz of the street outside becomes a kind of ocean. My body stays alert anyway, like it's waiting for the next blow. So I give it work. I print everything Miss Chowdhury sends. I spread papers across the floor again, but this time it isn't chaos. It's a map, a timeline, dates lined up like footprints, amounts underlined, small circles around repeating numbers, too neat, too consistent, too intentional. My thumb drags along one column. The transfers always hit on the same 2 days every month, like rent. But it isn't rent. My stomach tightens every time I see the pattern, like the truth has teeth and keeps sinking in deeper. I make a list in my notebook in dark ink. Hard pressure. The pen bites the page, transfer 1, transfer 2, transfer 3. I write, who benefits? And the words look childish, like something from a school lesson. But it's the right question. The only question. I don't say fraud. I don't say shell company. I don't say anything out loud that I can't prove. I let the paper speak. That's the revenge, I realize. How quiet it is. No screaming, no scenes. No dramatic revenge fantasies where someone gets what they deserve in a single moment. Just the slow, precise work of making a liar choke on his own paperwork. Miss Chowdhury tells me, we don't accuse, we present. Let the court call it what it is. So I build a file that could stand on its own legs. I add screenshots of Naveed's messages, dates visible, his words clean and cold. Not my problem now, don't make a scene. Drop Mina at my mother's. I print them and slide them into plastic sleeves like they're evidence from a crime scene. Because they are. He starts provoking me the second he senses the ground shifting. It begins with voice notes. His voice is warm in them, almost gentle, and it makes my skin crawl. Like he's performing for an audience that isn't there, an invisible judge, an invisible social worker, an invisible friend he wants to turn into a witness. Hey, he says softly like we're still a couple. Just checking if you're okay. You've been emotional. I worry about Mina. Emotional. The word lands like a slap wrapped in cotton. Then a pause. A sigh. Like he's carrying something heavy. If you keep making this difficult, it'll only hurt her. He adds. I listen with my jaw clenched, so tight my teeth ache. I can feel the muscles at the sides of my head throbbing. He wants me to react. He wants me to explode so he can point and say, see? So I don't. I don't reply to voice notes at all, not even once. I write instead. Please communicate by email regarding schedules and expenses, thank you. That's it. Short, clean, calm. It feels like swallowing nails typing thank you when my throat is full of rage. But I do it anyway. I imagine the words living forever. I imagine someone reading them later in a silent office. I imagine my steadiness being louder than his performance. He tries another route. He sends a photo of Mina at Farzana's house. She's in a new dress. Farzana's hand is on her shoulder. Mina's smile is tight, too practiced. Her eyes don't look at the camera. Caption: she's doing great here. Stable, stable. I stare at the screen until it blurs. My chest feels hollow, like something has been scooped out and left raw edges. I put the phone down with slow control. I press my palms flat on the table until the wood cold seeps into my skin. I breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, in, out. My body wants to run somewhere. My body wants to bite. I don't let it. I open my notebook. I write the date. I write photo sent, attempt to imply custody preference, save. My revenge has a spine. Then the custody evaluation request comes like a surprise punch. An official email, polite language, heavy words, in the best interest of the child, psychological evaluation, parenting capacity, home assessment. My hands go numb reading it. The room feels far away, like I'm underwater again. My ears ring. A cold sweat breaks across my back. They want to drain me. Money, time, energy. They want me exhausted and scrambling and messy. They want me in survival mode so I make mistakes. I walk to the bathroom and stare at my face in the mirror. My eyes look bigger than they used to. My lips are chapped. There's a faint bruise-like shadow under one eye from lack of sleep. I look like what they've been calling me. Unstable. I grip the sink until my fingers hurt. Then I straighten. Not because I feel strong, because I refuse to give them my weakness as a gift. Miss Chowdhury's reply is quick, crisp. "We comply," she writes. "We also request reciprocal evaluation and full disclosure, including the child's medical coverage history and caregiving schedule." Reciprocal. The word tastes like steel. I sign up for therapy that same week. I don't announce it. I don't justify it. I go. The waiting room smells like lavender and old magazines. My hands sweat on my knees. My heart beats too fast, like it's a shame to be seen asking for help. When the therapist asks, "What brings you here?" my throat tightens and I can't speak for a second. My eyes burn. I say, "I need to stay steady." That's all. Steady becomes my religion. I also sign up for a parenting class at the community center. Not because I think I'm failing as a mother, because I need proof that I'm trying, that I show up, that I don't collapse under pressure. When the instructor hands out worksheets, I can smell the fresh photocopy ink. It reminds me of offices. It reminds me of who I used to be. I fill every line. At school, I ask Mina's teacher to email me about her progress and attendance. I ask the school office for records. I ask Mina's pediatric clinic for visit summaries and medication lists. Every request is polite. Every request is dated. Every response gets printed. I start building a calendar. Mina's doctor visits, who took her, who signed the forms, who picked her up, who attended parent meetings, who knew her teachers' names, who knew which nights she had nightmares. Me. Always me. And Naveed, his presence is like a guest appearance. Occasional, convenient, photogenic. I speak to our neighbor from the old house, an older woman who used to wave at Mina through the fence. She hesitates at first. I can see the fear in her eyes, the fear of getting involved, the fear of upsetting Naveed. Then she sighs and says, quietly, "You were always with that little girl. I saw you. Every day." The words hit me in the throat. Tears rise hot, fast. I blink them down. "Would you be willing to say that if asked?" I ask, voice careful. She nods. "Yes." I write her name down. I write her phone number. I write the date. Evidence doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to exist. Naveed keeps trying. One night, he sends a message at 1:12 a.m. I'm trying to be reasonable. "Why are you doing this?" My stomach flips at the timestamp. He wants me awake. He wants me exhausted. He wants me to answer in the dark with my emotions spilling out. I don't. I take a screenshot. I save it. I go back to sleep with my phone face down, like turning it away is an act of refusal. In the morning, I respond by email at 9:03 a.m. Please send any concerns regarding the schedule to my lawyer. Thank you. My fingers shake as I type thank you. But I type it anyway. Then Samira calls. Her voice is different, tight, low. "Listen," she says, and my stomach drops before she even finishes the first word. "He's moving." "What do you mean?" My mouth goes dry. I can't give you details, she says, careful, breath controlled. But based on what's floating around, he's trying to close or rename an account. Like he's cleaning up. My heart starts pounding so hard it makes my ribs ache. My palms go cold. I stand up without realizing it, my chair scraping the floor. Because he knows, I whisper. Yes, Samira says. Because he knows. I feel adrenaline flood my limbs, a hot rush. My hands tremble so violently I have to press them against my thighs. I call Miss Chowdhury immediately. She answers, and the sound of her calm voice is like a weight on my shoulders, steadying me. He's trying to close an account, I blurt. My words come out too fast, breathless. He's trying to rename, move, something. Samira thinks. Okay, she says, cutting through the panic. Breathe. One breath. I inhale. It's shaky. It hurts. I do it anyway. Now, she says, we move first. She files an emergency motion that same day. Preserve assets. Compel disclosure. Stop any changes. Freeze the ability to shuffle the deck while the court is watching. When she tells me we asked for preservation, I feel a strange, sharp relief, like a door locking from the inside. That night, I don't cry. I clean my kitchen instead. I scrub the counter until my arms ache. I wash dishes that are already clean. I need the sensation of doing something with my hands that ends in a result I can see. The next week is a blur of emails and appointments and Mina's small voice asking careful questions. Am I going to have to change schools? She asks one night, curled beside me on the mattress. Her hair smells like shampoo and warm skin. She feels too light in my arms, like she's shrinking from stress. No, I say, and my voice is firmer than I feel. You're staying. We're staying. She nods but doesn't look convinced. She presses her forehead into my shoulder. I hold her until my arm goes numb, and I promise myself, silently, that I will not let him turn her life into a negotiation tactic. Then, the forgotten statement comes. It arrives in a batch of documents, partial records, delayed, printed like they're doing us a favor. Miss Chowdhury flags it with a simple note. This one is odd. I stare at it. A small balance. Almost laughable. The kind of statement that says, see, nothing here. But my eyes catch something my heart recognizes before my mind does. A routing reference, a linked code, a tiny line of text that looks like background noise until you look again and realize it's a doorway. My breath catches. My fingers tighten on the paper so hard it crinkles. I trace the line with my nail. A small scrape sound on the page. This account isn't the room. It's the hallway. My skin prickles. My heartbeat climbs into my throat. I can taste metal again, like my mouth is full of pennies. A small account connected to something larger. A funnel. A hiding place. I feel it in my bones the way I used to feel a wrong total in a budget. Like something is off, and the offness has a shape. I pick up my phone and type one sentence to Miss Chowdhury, hands shaking. This looks linked. Can we trace the routing trail? My thumb hovers, my pulse pounds. I send it. Then I sit very still, paper in my lap, Mina's soft breathing behind the bedroom door, the buzz of the light above me humming like a warning. In my mind, I see Naveed's face when he realizes the court isn't listening to his smile anymore. I see his lawyer's confidence cracking, not because of anger, not because of drama, because of ink, because of numbers, because of a trail he thought no one would ever follow. And my body does something strange. It relaxes just a little, like it finally believes there's a way out of the trap. Through it, not around it. The statement trembles in my hands, the small balance, the big shadow behind it, a door behind a door, and I can feel it now. So close it makes my teeth ache. The moment the truth stops being mine alone, the moment it becomes theirs too. The courtroom air hits the back of my throat like dust. Old carpet, old paper, someone's aftershave drifting from the row behind me. The kind of smell that doesn't belong in a room where futures get cut into pieces. My hands are cold again, but they aren't shaking the way they used to. My fingers rest on the edge of the table, nails pressing lightly into the wood. I focus on the pressure, the texture, the fact that I'm here. Naveed sits across from me with his shoulders relaxed, as if this is a meeting he can charm his way through. His suit is perfect. His hair is perfect. Even his patience looks styled. His lawyer stands when it's his turn, and the confidence in him is almost physical, like a warm coat he expects everyone to admire. Your Honor, he begins, voice smooth. This is a classic case of a disgruntled spouse engaging in a fishing expedition. Mrs. Rahman has no credible basis. Fishing expedition. The phrase skims across my skin like oil. It's meant to make me sound messy, emotional, wild, like I'm throwing accusations because I can't handle rejection. I keep my face still. Inside, my stomach clenches, hard. My pulse presses into my fingertips. The lawyer keeps going, words stacked neatly like bricks, unsubstantiated, speculative, burdensome. He says the documents are delayed because of clerical errors. He says Naveed's disclosures are complete to the best of his knowledge. He says my requests are excessive for someone in her position. Someone in her position, like my position is on my knees. I can feel Mina's absence beside me like a phantom limb. She's with my cousin outside the courtroom doors, waiting. My chest tightens just thinking about her small hands, how she squeezes too hard when she's anxious, how she tries to be brave for me. Then Miss Chowdhury stands. She doesn't rush, she doesn't perform, she doesn't smile, she simply rises like the room belongs to facts, not confidence. Your Honor, she says, calm as a flat line on a monitor, we are not fishing. We are following disclosed numbers that do not reconcile with declared income, lifestyle expenditures, and incomplete production. She places a folder on the table, our folder, and the sound it makes is small but sharp, a soft thud that feels like a gavel inside my ribs. She starts with the timeline, dates, transfers, repeated amounts, missing months, inconsistencies that don't scream. They whisper, over and over, in the same place, until the whisper becomes unbearable. As she speaks, I watch Naveed's face. He keeps it smooth. He keeps it polite. But his eyes blink a little too often. The judge leans forward slightly. The movement is subtle, but I feel it like a change in weather, like pressure dropping before rain. Mr. Rahman, the judge says, and the way she says his name is different than before, heavier, less impressed. I'm going to ask you directly. Are there any accounts, domestic or otherwise, in your name or under any name variation not listed in your filed disclosure? Naveed's mouth curves into something that wants to be charming. No, Your Honor, he answers immediately. Too quickly. It's the kind of speed that isn't confidence, it's reflex. Miss Chowdhury speaks again, gently, almost kindly. Your Honor, may I approach? The judge nods. My heart starts pounding hard enough that my vision vibrates slightly at the edges. Miss Chowdhury places a single page in front of the judge. Just one. I recognize it from the moment I saw it. The forgotten statement, the one that looked small and harmless, the one with the tiny routing reference like a thread hanging from a sleeve. The judge's eyes move across it. Her expression doesn't change much, but something in the room shifts anyway. A stillness, like everyone's holding their breath without knowing why. Mr. Rahman, the judge says, and her voice is quieter now, more dangerous because of it. Do you recognize this institution? Naveed's lips part. His gaze flicks to the page. Back to the judge. Back to the page. He swallows. I can see his throat move. That's not, he starts, and then the word sticks. I don't know, Your Honor. I'm not sure. He isn't sure. My nails press deeper into the wood. His lawyer steps in fast, like a man trying to cover a spill before anyone sees it. Your Honor, that appears to be... He begins. The judge raises a hand. Silence. The lawyer stops mid-word. The quiet is loud. I hear the hum of the lights, the rustle of someone's sleeve, the faint squeak of a bench as someone shifts their weight. The judge taps the paper once, precisely where that routing reference sits. What is this linked transfer reference? She asks. Miss Chowdhury answers without emotion, as if reading a receipt. It indicates a linked pathway, an associated account or transfer channel not included in the disclosure. We are requesting full records to confirm the destination and source. I can feel the coldness of the room now, sharp and clean, like the air has been replaced. Naveed's lawyer's confidence drains in real time. His face tightens. His eyes flick down to his notes, then up again as if the words might rearrange themselves into a way out. He tries anyway. Your Honor, with respect, this could be an administrative code. There's no proof. The judge looks at Naveed. Mr. Rahman, she says, you previously stated under oath that you had only the accounts listed in Exhibit B. Naveed's jaw clenches. It's a micro-movement, a crack. Yes, he says, that's correct. The judge's eyes do not blink. And yet, this document, sent to the marital address, reflects an account under a variation of your name with a linked transfer reference. Explain. The room feels like it's tilted toward him. Naveed tries to smile. It doesn't land. His mouth trembles at one corner. I don't know why it would be sent there, he says too smoothly, too practiced. I haven't lived there consistently. A lie. It's not even a good one. Miss Chowdhury's voice slides in again, gentle, lethal. Your Honor, the record reflects he used that address on recent filings and communications. Additionally, she flips a page. And I feel it, the moment he realizes she has more than one page. My pulse climbs. His lawyer shifts his stance. His hand goes to his tie, then drops. The judge's gaze sharpens. Mr. Rahman, she says, are you telling this court you have no knowledge of this account? Naveed answers too fast again. Yes, no knowledge. And then, because he can't help himself, he adds, my wife is clearly confused. She's been under a lot of stress. There it is, the old knife, stress, emotional, unstable. I feel heat flood my face. A roar rises in my chest, primal and furious. My tongue presses hard against my teeth. Don't react. Don't give him what he wants. Miss Chowdhury doesn't even look at me. She doesn't need to. She turns her body slightly, like she's shielding me from his attempt to drag me into mud. Your Honor, she says, we have documented her stability and caregiving. We also have records of his unilateral actions affecting the child's coverage and support. Coverage. Support. The judge's eyes flick to her notes. The courtroom feels colder. Naveed's lawyer clears his throat. His voice is not as smooth now. If necessary, we can… Supplement. Supplement. He means scramble. The judge speaks slowly, the kind of slow that makes my bones vibrate. I am ordering a full forensic review of all relevant accounts and transfers. I am ordering complete financial disclosure within a defined time frame. I will also consider sanctions for failure to disclose, depending on what the review reveals. Forensic review, complete disclosure, sanctions. Each phrase drops like a stone into water. The ripples spread across the room. Naveed's face goes pale under his perfect tan. His lawyer's lips press into a thin line. He doesn't look at me anymore. He stares at the table like it might open and swallow him. The judge continues, voice steady. With regard to custody and visitation, the court notes Mrs. Rahman's documented caregiving, her proactive steps toward stability, and the concerning nature of attempts to weaponize financial access and communication. Weaponize! My chest tightens with a strange, sharp relief. Not triumph, not yet, but recognition. The judge is seeing what I lived. Naveed opens his mouth as if to protest, but nothing comes out. His throat works. His eyes dart to his lawyer. And that's when I see it. Fear. Real fear. Not the kind he performed when he wanted sympathy. Not the kind he used to manipulate. A raw flicker. Because he understands now. This isn't a room he can charm. This is a room that eats lies. The hearing ends with instructions, deadlines, warnings. People stand, chairs scrape, papers shuffle. The noise of life returns like someone turned the volume back on. My legs feel weak when I rise, but it's not the same weakness as before. It's the weakness after carrying something heavy and finally setting it down. Outside the courtroom doors, Mina runs to me so fast she nearly trips. She wraps her arms around my waist, pressing her face into my stomach, like she needs to check that I'm still real. Her hair smells like sunshine and someone else's detergent. I bend and hold her. My arms shake. Not from fear, from the sudden release of it. She looks up at me with wide eyes. Mom, she whispers, you didn't look scared today. My throat tightens instantly. Tears sting hot behind my eyes. Because I was scared. I was terrified. But I stayed steady. I press my forehead to hers. I was scared, I whisper back. I just didn't let it drive. She nods like she understands more than she should. She squeezes my hand. Her fingers are warm. Then my phone buzzes. A new message. Farzana. My stomach flips. I almost don't open it. I do anyway. This is getting out of hand. Naveed is under a lot of pressure. You don't want to ruin his reputation. Think of Mina. My skin goes cold. Ruin his reputation. As if truth is sabotage. As if consequences are cruelty. I don't answer. I take a screenshot. I forward it to Miss Chowdhury. My heart beats faster, but not with panic. Focus. Because Farzana has been messaging me like this for weeks. Always careful, always sugar-coated threats, always for the child. And now, with the court watching, her words have weight. They're proof of coordination, pressure, a plan. Later that night, Mina falls asleep early, curled like a comma on the mattress. I sit at the table with the lamp on low, the apartment quiet except for the refrigerator's occasional click. My body aches, my eyes burn, my shoulders feel heavy, but my mind is awake in a new way. My phone pings again, an email from Naveed's lawyer. Subject: revised settlement proposal. My fingertips go numb as I open it. The words swim for a second, then sharpen. We propose a revised settlement, effective immediately. Effective immediately. My mouth goes dry. My heart stutters, because I can feel it. The rush behind the politeness, the scramble behind the proposal. They're afraid of what the forensic review will find. They're afraid of the linked account. They're afraid of the door behind the door. I stare at the email until the screen light paints my hands pale, and I realize something so clear it hurts. Revenge wasn't screaming. It wasn't breaking things. It was staying steady long enough for the truth to stand up in court and speak with my voice. Even when my voice wanted to shake, I inhale, slow. I look toward the bedroom where Mina sleeps, safe for now. Then I look back at the email. My thumb hovers over forward, and I press it. The night stays quiet, but inside me something begins to move. Slow, inevitable, like a lock turning. The apartment is quiet in a way that used to scare me. Now it feels like a clean sheet, a blank page, a space where my nervous system can finally unclench its fists. I stand at the sink with warm water running over my hands, and I realize, so suddenly it makes my eyes sting, that betrayal didn't just break me. It introduced me back to myself. Not the version of me that smiled through dinners, not the version that apologized for taking up space. The older, steadier version, the one who notices details, the one who writes things down, the one who can hold her breath underwater long enough to swim to the edge. I think about how hard I tried to be easy to love, quiet, agreeable, trusting, as if trust was a currency I could spend to buy safety. It wasn't. Trust was a blindfold. My throat tightens and I press my knuckles to my lips until the feeling passes. Not because I'm trying to be brave, because I'm tired of bleeding in front of people who call it proof that I'm weak. There are lessons in this that I wish I didn't have to learn. Lessons that cost too much. Keep copies of key documents, not because you're paranoid, because memory is not evidence. Love is not evidence. Your word is not evidence when someone else is charming enough to sell a different story. I used to think a marriage was built on trust. Now I know. Trust without transparency is just surrender with pretty wrapping. Don't rely on trust as a financial plan. If you don't know where the money goes, you don't know where your life goes. If you can't access the accounts, you can't access the truth. And if someone makes you feel guilty for asking, that's the first alarm. Quiet consistency beats loud intimidation. He was loud in all the ways that mattered. Lawyers, deadlines, threats, smug little smiles. He tried to drown me in noise so I'd mistake panic for reality. But paper doesn't panic. Paper just sits there and waits to be read. Truth doesn't need to shout, just show up with receipts. I walk into the bedroom. Mina is already half asleep, curled on her side with her stuffed bunny tucked under her chin. Her lashes rest against her cheeks, and in the dim light she looks younger again, like the stress isn't pulling her forward into adulthood by the wrist. My chest aches with love so sharp it feels like it could split me open. I sit on the edge of the bed and smooth her hair back. My fingers catch on a small knot, and I work it loose gently, slowly. Like everything precious requires patience. Her eyes open a sliver. Mom? Yeah, baby. She blinks. Her voice is thick with sleep. Are we okay? The question lands in me like a stone. I swallow. My throat burns. I lean down and press my lips to her forehead, breathing in the soft smell of shampoo and warm skin. We're okay, I whisper. We're getting okay. Her hand finds mine under the blanket and squeezes. Not hard. Just enough to remind me that I'm not alone in this. I tuck the blanket around her shoulders and stand. My knees creak softly. The floorboard complains under my weight. The apartment is still small, still imperfect, still full of buzzing lights and thin walls and a refrigerator that clicks like a nervous habit. But it's peaceful, and it's ours. I walk back into the kitchen and look at the little stack of papers on the table, neatly clipped now, aligned, organized. No longer a storm, a timeline, a spine, a map back to myself. If you're still here with me, if you've ever been underestimated by a partner, by family, by a room full of people who thought your silence meant your surrender, then you already know what this feels like. Stay close. Subscribe for more revenge and justice stories. Stories where the truth doesn't beg to be believed, it proves itself. And if this hits something in you, hit like. Leave a comment. Tell me where you're watching from and what time it is there. Most of all, share one moment you found your strength. Even if it was small, even if it was quiet. Because quiet doesn't mean powerless. Sometimes quiet is the sound of someone rebuilding.